This is a Headgum podcast.
1, 2, 3. Downside.
You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.
You're our third Mary. Or not third. I had Hannah solo on a different show that I do, and Hannah was phenomenal. And then we had Jinx on, and you're our third Mary. So we're honored to have on the show John Cameron Mitchell. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
And I'm here with Russell Daniels.
Hi.
This is The Downside. This is a place we can complain, we can get negative. We don't have to pretend everything's good. Ty, can you turn on my headphones a little bit? Unless my headphones are broken too. Oh God, I know we don't do these tech checks in the beginning. I hear Russell, not me. Okay. We're not editing any of it.
Okay.
It's part of it. It's part of the spirit of podcasting is less work on the back end. That really is the theme of podcasting. We good? Yeah, that's good.
There
Perfect.
we go.
Well, hello, John.
Hello.
I was talking with my producer, and I was just playing some Hedwig, and Ty, you said it's the only musical you and your, fair to say, conservative leading father have ever seen.
Very conservatively.
That was your intro to musical theater. Was
not intro, but my stepmom really loves Sound of Music, but his
Sound of Music, my favorite two musicals.
Yes.
Sound of Music, Hedwig.
Well, that's hers. My dad though is Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Your dad likes it?
He likes it a lot.
Wow.
Enough to show it to me. That was my introduction, was through my dad.
He showed it
Wow.
to you.
He loves the sound. Yes.
So Ty's a comedian too, and has a bit about your dad's conservative, but all the art that he intakes.
Yeah, I say he's an in the closet liberal.
And
That was my dad a little bit.
was it? Because your
He
dad,
was a general.
he was a general, and so where was the liberal part in that?
Well, he liked show tunes too. He actually later came out to me. I mean, he was never, the way he put it, he was bisexual. He says, everyone's bisexual, then you make a choice. I'm like, oh. And I'm like, I didn't know that. There's no choice on my part, but it was very, touching of him to say that, and he was encouraging me to marry a woman at the time. But
How old were you when he said that?
I'd come out, it was the early 20s, but he really was meaning it. He really wanted me. It was the middle of AIDS, and it's hard to be a parent with a gay kid then, and he was a good guy, and it was just, his generation wasn't really able to be queer.
Do you think he believed that everyone was bisexual, or did he understand that?
Well, everyone's a little bit bisexual. Everyone is non-binary. Everybody's got all these energies. We in America like to label ourselves because we're capitalist.
Yeah.
Identity politics has been co-opted by capitalism. I.e., if you can choose an identity, then you can be sold to, which is why I'm very much against limiting yourself with these labels. And identity politics annoys me, and it's irrelevant in a time of fascism.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. Do you think capitalism is inherently, is it impossible to kind of break free from the binary of gender in a capitalist society?
Well, I try to resist the excesses of capitalism in my life, so it certainly has happened for me. So yes, I think it is. If you're just a sheep following your social media and what you're supposed to be buying, then no. And part of that was, again, labeling, what is your identity exactly? Tell us you're 14, you should know what you are. It's like, give me a break.
Mm-hmm.
We're changing constantly. And it's like, I don't like to limit people on what they are, sexuality, gender-wise. Everyone's mixed. Everyone's racially mixed. Everyone is, a mixed party is the best party. So it's like, why limit yourself? I understand it comes from fear. I have friends who are like, I don't want to hang out with any cis people. And it's like, okay, you've been hurt, you're trans. And it's like, I don't know if that's the solution, but I understand it.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of going away, hippies going away into the forest to create their community. I applaud that if they do it right. And, there's a queer version of that, like Radical Fairies. And
Can you tell me what Radical Fairies is? I know.
It's a loose term that Harry Hay coined in the 70s. Harry Hay was a very early gay rights guy. that was more about we need to gather with our own tribe to make magic, whatever that means, and share it with the world. Now, the share it with the world thing is kind of gone away for some people who want to circle the wagons and hide out lately.
Yeah, no, just we're I think we both similarly come to a perspective. We're both straight cis guys.
Yeah.
Russell, much of your recent work especially has been portraying women.
Yeah.
And phenomenal at it. And I if I could sing higher, I would sing.
Yeah, we all
if I
have
could
these
sing
energies,
higher.
right? We work them out.
Definitely.
We have fun with them. It has nothing to do with sexuality. It's like we just have energies that are fun to express. And in fact, if you crush them and hate them, there's hell to pay. We all know those people who are uncomfortable with themselves, and we don't want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
No matter what gender identity they are. It's just like people relaxed about who they are more fun.
It's like, how do you make space without being exclusionary? It feels so like there's a yoga studio I went to, and they said they were opening up another studio, and this new studio would just be for women or women identifying people.
Right.
And there was the thought I had, the joke I had was like, if you want to separate the genders, you should try Hasidic Judaism or so many other things. And it's like the need for spaces of community. It's such a...
Unfortunately, it comes out of bad behavior and trauma in people's past and them trying to get over it. And I understand the need for, say, a female space. There was something called Michigan Women's Festival that was a nurturing place for women, a lot of lesbians, queer people, and a lot of great music came out of it. Bands like La Tigra and Gail Ann Dorsey, who work with, and Ani DeFranco and Bitch, and these people who felt safer. But then I think, again, the danger is being stuck in that place, as opposed to a place where you could say a college is the same thing. It's a place where you can blossom, and maybe in a safe way, in a certain safe. I don't think the ideas should be safe, but your body should be safe.
Yes.
And then you spread what you learned around. If you just keep it to yourself, it feels very cannibalistic. It feels kind of inbred.
Yeah.
Which is why the variety to me is the best thing. But again, sometimes you need a little quiet space to make that magic, to write that thing, to workshop something, to feel like you're not going to get attacked by the mean boys that you grew up with.
Yeah.
And, those mean boys were often terrorized by somebody else. It's a constant battle of people getting over what they went through. And all of therapy is basically you're confusing that person with someone who hurt you.
Well, speaking of gender and capitalism, you're currently at the epicenter of art and capitalism of being on Broadway. And
I got to pay my bills too.
Yeah, of course. But I also have that thought where, like, with Oh Mary, which I love. I saw it with Cole off Broadway. Saw it with Jinx.
Yeah.
And my friend has two teenagers who just saw you, and they saw Cole and you and loved it, which of course is the big test if you saw Cole with someone else to go like, oh yeah, this is still incredible.
Yeah, I'm very different from Cole.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. That's what's it's. But I have that thought of, Russell, for example.
Yeah.
One day, Oh Mary Let's Hope It runs 20 years.
Yeah.
I think it'd be so funny because Russell would be so good. But we know certainly there would not be a celebration of finally the first cis male Mary on Broadway.
I don't think it's a big deal. It's like for
It
Cole.
would never happen. I don't
think never.
I think it should.
I think never. I don't think never.
Sure.
I mean, it's the same as Hedwig. We've had all genders, sexualities, race, age. To me, it's a role. It's a role, and even if you're female, it is still drag of a kind.
Yeah.
Females can do female drag, males can do male drag.
Yeah.
Trans people can do cis drag. It doesn't matter. It's dress up. It's play, and when we kill that in the name of, historical oppression or identity, you're just cutting off part of you that's a beautiful element of yourself. You're limiting yourself.
Yeah.
And I even know a lot of trans, specifically male folks who kind of transition partly to free themselves from any rules, meaning lesbian rules, straight rules. They're not trying to become the cis guys they grew up with. They're just trying to create their own space and their own vibe, which is quite androgynous often, you know, and even identified with gay men. A lot of trans masc, you know, kind of, they'd rather be seen as a gay man than a straight man.
Yeah.
But again, if anything is based on fear of the unknown, I mean, fear of the known is Trump. You know, I'm not going to vote for Trump. That's fear of the known. Fear of the unknown is like, oh, what if I, you know, cast a straight guy in Mary? What's going to happen? It's like, who cares? It's a party. If whoever gets it, whoever understands Hedwig should be able to play Hedwig if they've got the chops. There's been times, there was a moment during the height of cancellation and such, which came out of frustration with the powers that be, meaning Trump, that we started, what can we do? Well, we can correct our neighbors. You know, we can't do anything about the government. So we start rats in a cage, you know, correcting our friends until we do Trump's job and separate ourselves enough for him to win again, which is exactly what happened last time. A lot of people were pushed to the right by an over arrogant, this is what you can say, this is what you can't say, from a good intention originally, but power begets power. And anyone can abuse it, you know, and unfortunately the right wing was the critique of that. But I was a leftist point of view. You know, I have a fictional podcast series out starring Holly Hunter called Cancellation Island, where she plays a person who starts a rehab for canceled people.
Now,
so it's like, I mean, we're beyond cancellation now because we're in actual fascism, which is sad that it took that.
of course, I mean, I think the argument would be because you know we're different generations, and certainly like whenever someone older talks about cancellation, and I'm 37, I'm no spring chicken, but there's a degree of like, it felt like older people talk about cancellation in a way, it's very hard to parse out who deserves something, some kind of shift. And many people would argue that all the quote-unquote canceled people, for the most part, still continued to be rich,
That's
successful.
not true. Those are the famous ones.
Of course.
I know plenty of people who have lost their livelihood for some stray remark or a vendetta, including my brother, including my closest friend in music, you know. So it's like, who lost her career because of one person deciding she was transphobic out of an anodyne comment. So it's not just famous people. Yeah, you're right. Those people can keep working the Louis C.K. and the such, which to me was lower end cancel. You know, it's like he's jerking off in front of employees. It's like, whatever. It's creepy, but it's not the same as rape or murder.
Sure.
So it's like,
rank them,
there's variety. There is.
You can't put them in one thing.
Of course, you can't put them all in one thing.
No, and it's like people do.
Yeah.
Like you are equal to
Aziz Ansari
Weinstein because you've given me a wink and, you know.
Yeah. But it's so quickly...
there's fetish and awkwardness about one person's fetish is another person's assault. When, you know, it's complicated. And I imagine, especially straight guys, you know, with the consent and such, are like terrified. There's no question that fewer people are having sex. Consent issues is one of them. Too much porn is another. And just too many screens, and COVID shut people down to the idea of spontaneity and things you can't control, like sex.
I was thinking, so I had never seen Short Bus till this week when you were coming on, watched it, and I had this thing of like being like, wow, my life is so much more prude. I've never been like there's just, we haven't like, to imagine there being rooms like where there's musicians playing and people are having sex, and I was like, this is lovely, and it doesn't feel like the image that sometimes you hear friends talk about the orgies they've gone to.
We were on a sketch team though, and I will say I was always the one.
You were.
I was always pitching, let me get naked. We gotta get naked.
It made me
bring
like
naked back to sketch.
It made me
and we got
sad.
close.
It made me like be like, oh, I've never had this like lovely experience in my life. It just feels like a different world than
and we come from punk.
Yeah.
You know, me and my friends come from punk. We come from the time when AIDS was claiming our friends. So fuck all y'all. Our friends are what matter.
Yeah.
And AIDS activism was applied punk. And we saved our fucking lives.
Yeah.
You know, we convinced the Tony Fauci's and others what was right. And they listened, you know.
What was it like to navigate what could have easily been, and I'm sure in some ways was, sex, like just stop having sex or sex negativity in that moment, to like still embrace, freedom.
Well, I was the first generation that came out into safe sex. So sadly, others a bit older died because there was no. Certainly, the government ignored their responsibility for years, neglected it. You know, spend millions to sort of help a few American legionnaires from Legionnaire's disease, but then, 800,000 people died in the U.S. of AIDS, and as we know, Reagan and Bush, Reagan wouldn't even say the word, and already 50,000 were dead.
Now, I saw a picture, I believe, was it your father and mother with Reagan? There's some picture with Reagan. You're so close to
my dad was a big, my dad was a very Reagan Republican Catholic guy. My mom's very religious.
Did your dad go to Reagan and say everyone's born bisexual and you make a choice?
No. Though he was not a hypocrite. He was a closet case about that, but he did love my mom. That wasn't fake. And they were together till the end. And I think when I came out, Mom had some suspicions about Dad, so that made it harder for her to accept me. But he, even after he retired and there was the gays in the military thing came up, he went on local TV and said, of course gays should be in the military. They're already there. It's like, what's the problem? This is about national service. And he was a great, great guy. And when he knew I was going on my way, he respected me and defended me, even against my mom, who was so religious that she kept thinking I was going to hell.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, Joan, give it a break. And she's like, he's a good guy. And what he's making, Short Bus and Hedwig, is not for you, but it's for someone, and it's positive. It's a positive thing. It's not, I'm not trying to just shock. I'm trying to knock people out of their complacency.
Yeah.
But you can see with Short Bus, I'm not doing like a nymphomaniac or Brown Bunny.
I'm not trying
gentle.
I read you did cunnilingus for the first time.
Yes, I was, again.
First time on camera?
First time ever.
It's brave.
If I were to suck a dick on camera, I'd at least get some practice rounds in before we hit record.
Well, I would want to document it. I thought my mom would be happy. She was not.
He's a quick learner.
She didn't watch it though. But my aunt,
Your
nun,
aunt
did.
Oh.
And she was still, because my grandfather, step grandfather, was a priest, excommunicated, because he met my grandma, fell in love, wrote the Pope saying, could we make an exception? I don't know what he was thinking. They sent him to a psych ward. They thought he was crazy. He was a
There's
dean of
always
students
exceptions.
at George Washington.
Yeah.
Catholicism is a religion of exceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No divorce, you can get an annulment.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always a way out.
So your aunt was a nun.
Protestants don't have any ways out.
No.
They just kept tightening the ship and taking Jesus off the cross and getting rid of Mary. They just got rid of all the gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you raised Catholic? Do you feel with your art, do you feel drawn to that Jesus metaphor that
Sure. Jesus is my first love object. Jesus, he's naked on a cross. Mm-hmm. No, I wasn't jerking off to Jesus, but I loved him. He was the ultimate non-binary religious leader. He was so opposite of the so-called male aggression, right? He was
kind. He's hanging out with
he is hanging out
with everyone, though.
He's hanging out with the fabulous, adulteresses and and the rest are guys. He was a lot. Who the hell knows what actually happened? But some of those Jesus said phrases were so weird that I'm kind of guessing they were pretty close to accurate. Like, why would anyone say turn the other cheek at that time?
Yeah.
That wasn't a Buddhist.
Yeah.
And it was very Eastern. It was very Eastern. And, I was always interested I'm always interested in religion and Christianity and Gnostic Christianity, which was the other view of it, which was more about the non-binary energy, and the creator God, the God of the Old Testament, was actually the villain of that religion, because he's killing everybody. I mean, you look at the Old Testament, it's like, I don't want to be this God's friend.
Yeah.
New Testament, it was a different vibe.
Yeah.
Right? You don't use the word love in association with God in the Old Testament. That was new. And that was new for a lot of religions. So I'm like, this is pretty cool, and the Golden Rule. And it's like, he seemed even kind of funny, like he could, had his...
Tell me one of the quips.
Well, they were always trying to catch him out. They're like, well, you're all like the kingdom of God. And it's like, well, what about this? What about taxes to the Romans? Because, that was the big controversy, was that they were occupied by the Romans. And he's like, he looked at the coin, Caesar was on it, and he said, render to Caesar what is Caesar's. I.e., that's his department.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when Cole was asked, about the non-controversy of Patti LuPone,
Yes.
complaining about noise next door. Is it a racist act when it was just noise? And Cole's response on the red carpet was, I think it should be left to the states. And it's like, it's true. It's about, it's about common sense and care. And that's the best part of Christianity. And that's why my Aunt Nun is my hero. She's more liberal than me. She would sign her emails with, the ultimate pro-life gesture is care of the earth.
Mm-hmm. So she'd sign her emails with that?
That was her little thing.
No, people have it. And you have a little thing.
Yeah.
More liberal than you, John.
She was. She was more, she would be happy with a socialist, environmentalist, anarchist state.
Yeah.
Which, if you follow the Christian original, that is of a piece with that. The original socialism and communism came from Christianity. There was a Taoist version, and I'm a student of this. I love, learning about how people live together. But the earliest people who just said, we have common property, we all are going to take care of each other, in the U.S., in Europe, in the U.S., were Christian. They were, in effect, communists.
Yeah.
Right? Lay down your nets and come.
Yeah.
It was like one for all. And I'm a bit. My ideal state would be a third capitalist, a third socialist, and a third anarchist, meaning certain things, you should be allowed to just, make your own money in private property, but then there should be a fund for those who cannot. Mm-hmm. And everyone should pay into that. That's called Social Security. In other countries, it's national health. And then the anarchist part is fewer rules from above and more agreements among peers in your neighborhood.
Well, good luck with that, because it doesn't seem to be going that direction at all.
Well, that's what happens. That's what will happen if things collapse.
Yeah.
It'll be going back to small communities, not necessarily.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I'm ready for New York to secede. I think there's certain things where, it was like Texas threatening to secede, and it was like, how dare they say this thing? And now I'm like, yeah, you know what?
Well,
We're way too big.
When I was a kid, and they were talking about the Civil War, I really didn't understand, because it wasn't really thought about slavery. You could say that Lincoln and some others made that the main thing, but at first it was economic, right? Mm-hmm. It was like, they're the agrarians and the Northerns were the industrial, and we need both, and that's the union. It was an economic thing, and maybe a symbolic thing. But like, to me, I was like, all those people had to die. If it was for slavery, that would be different. Mm-hmm. But that, as you can tell, was a side.
It led to the end. I'm not educated enough in the Civil War to go too deep, but it did lead to that.
Thank God.
And maybe those deaths, if it didn't happen.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And it's like, but, was Hitler defeated to protect the Jews? No. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? There was other economic reasons, and then the result was perhaps an awareness of how fascist cultures can crush and scapegoat the minorities.
Well, good thing we learned lessons from that we have applied to modern day.
Well, now we're in. What's different about now, if you look per capita or like person per person at say 1972 to now, things were a lot worse in a global way. Mm-hmm. Meaning there was much more disease, much more poverty, much more death, much more war, much more terrorism. There just was. There was more misery. If you look at now, there's much less misery in the macro sense, but there's much less trust in fact. And the other huge thing, of course, is the cloud of global warming and climate change. And that is more important than all of it.
Yeah.
More important than fascism. That's another casualty of what's happening
but
now.
Not dealing with it is a consequence of fascism as well. I mean,
yes.
It's all intertwined.
It's Trump's version, but you could call China a kind of fascist police state too, but they see the future and they're like alternative energies, this is the future. They're business people.
Yeah.
And it's absurd to ignore climate change. If you're an actual businessman. If you're an ideologue who doesn't give a fuck about anyone but yourself, that's something else.
You know that feeling when you walk out of a doctor's office and think, wow, they made me feel so much better? Because it doesn't happen often. I got to tell you.
It does not.
I see a lot of bad doctors, and I do remember the good ones because they can make you feel lighter.
You can find doctors like that, Gianmarco, on ZocDoc.
ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone you love. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 150,000 providers across all 50 states.
Whether you're looking for dermatology, dentistry, primary care, eye care, or one of the other 200 specialties offered on ZocDoc, you can easily search by specialty or symptom to build the care team that is right for you. I use ZocDoc to find my dermatologist, and he was wonderful. So stop putting off those doctor appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/downside to find and instantly book a doctor you love today. That's ZocDoc.com/downside. ZocDoc.com/downside. Thanks, ZocDoc, for sponsoring this message.
I was pretty shocked. You said somewhere that they were showing Hedwig and the Angry Inch in Beijing or somewhere in Shanghai.
Yeah.
I was shocked by that because I just did some shows in Hong Kong, and I was given the impression I would not get whatever license would be needed to do stand up in the mainland, and
I think it's because there was a moment where they wanted to do it there before President Xi, who made things more conservative culturally again, about 15 years ago. And then lately, it seems to have opened up a bit. I think even Trump has kind of made Xi a little more like, no, we're the go-to country now. We're going to stay on top. We're going to stay on top of it, but we're going to be a friendlier face. And I don't think he's saying put on Hedwig, but
it's the first step.
His first mandate.
But there's also censors, different censors in different sections, and the entertainment section of Shanghai is more liberal. But I did have to change stuff.
What did you have to change? Because
it was mostly sexual things.
In Hedwig. So what was it? 2 minutes at the end of the day when you cut it all out? Like, how did you take sex out of Hedwig?
Well, I mean, just the double entendre jokes and stuff, which are not vital to it. I do love a warm hand on my entrance. It's like that is whatever. Those are just icing. The most important things were a character's being forced to change their gender to escape communism, in effect, a repressive regime, which you would think would be a deal breaker there. But interestingly, we have such a kind of network of Hedwig fans around the world that a woman was based in New York was asked to help translate that production, and she reached out on DM and said, I always come see your shows, and they're asking me to do it. Maybe we should look at it. So we, without the production knowing, we worked on the script.
Wow.
And she said, this is what they want to change. How about this as a compromise? You can't say the...
She's talking to the government.
No, the company. That's
the
doing
company.
it. Yeah, the government has a censor that responds to that script.
I see.
And it worked, and it was a hit there. So, she was like, you can't actually say the Berlin Wall, but you can say a wall in Berlin.
Oh.
China and Russia and other countries understand you read between the lines and you metaphor. That's the
I talked to a
watchword.
comedian because a lot of the comedians who do work in Hong Kong, they will perform in the mainland, and they have a deeper understanding, or their comedy has been more tailored. I come in as an American, just like
there's some big guy there, American, who's huge in China. Do you know that?
An American who's huge in China.
I just read about that.
His name is slipping my mind, from Silicon Valley. God.
Yeah, look up.
I've only met him once.
Famous American comedian.
But Silicon
But
Valley.
it's fascinating. Obviously, he's not touching on political stuff, but
Yeah.
But they said to me, like when they perform, they described it as you can't talk about the three T's, Tiananmen Square, Tibet, or Taiwan. And then they do a show, and it sounds like a government official was at the show and wrote him an email. I want to see this email, because it was basically, he mentioned the pandemic. And the next day, the government official writes back, like, you can't talk about the pandemic. And he writes back, I guess he's able to have a conversation, as opposed to in my mind, I go like, okay, I just will drop that joke.
Yeah.
He goes, what can I say? And the government official said, you can say, remember when we all spent 2 years at home?
yeah.
And he said he did it, and then that got a laugh,
Yeah.
which again, it's funny. That's
part
crazy.
of that. Yeah, I mean, there's just as many smart people there as here, so they're attuned to what you can say.
Yes.
And that has happened throughout the Warsaw Pact, the Cold War years, and the great artists of that time were able to talk to their people through code and metaphor. And it reminds me of, I always say queer people, or anyone who is, let's say, judged by their appearance or had to be closeted, understand metaphor at a younger age than older people, because they have to code it. People who get what they want, the ruling class, are not, they're simple-minded, because things are what they are. They're literal.
Is there any thought in terms of, like, part of me goes, it's beautiful and wonderful that queer art is able to be shown in a place where queer rights are not as far along. And then the other part of me goes, well, you start censoring a little bit, and then you start censoring more, and then American movies start taking out queer story, to be specific about queer storylines, because they know they need to make their nut in the Chinese market.
Yeah.
And like, what's the difference between capitulation in a way that will ultimately suppress rights versus getting an idea out there however you can, however coded you can?
That's for someone else. I mean, I don't necessarily want to thread a needle on my work. It's like, but I understand the need to for some. I can get a certain amount out there, and I also know that culture has changed people a lot. And even in the queer world, or the understanding of queerness, the last 15 years have been more than the last 500, right? In terms of people going, oh, it's another variation. Trans seemed to be a wall for some, because the idea of the binary was too important, which I think is limiting again. But there's also, people rushing. It's like the equivalent of, nothing is a bullet, a silver bullet. Nothing's a panacea. So we are, I think, all, I don't like the term non-binary because it's a negative. I think we all have these energies that might be called feminine and masculine within us. All of us do, whether we acknowledge it or not. And that, some people like to, again, capitalism likes to standardize it, have terms that are understandable and predictable, and that's what we do in America. Other cultures, it's like, whatever, right?
Yeah.
There's more of a whatever feeling,
Do you
and
feel
that's
like
how I am.
language itself can be like language demands a certain degree of agreement of how we're going to use nouns and pronouns and verbs and I think about there's great stand up I can't even fully understand from other countries where their language has like a masculine word or a feminine word, and it's like, well, how the fuck do you escape that? It's so
I mean,
baked
in Spanish,
into the literal language.
words for penis are masculine usually.
Yeah.
Words for vagina
Feminine.
words for penis are feminine, polla, verga, pinga, and words for vagina, coño and others are masculine.
Yeah.
And they're not based on anything. So, and people make jokes about that.
Yeah.
But to me, and there's other cultures that have no gender in their words like us. So that's why we get all caught up in pronouns, and it's like, yes, there's a certain amount of respect, but also when it becomes, my way or the highway, you're out because you forgot my pronoun, you're trying to destroy me, and it's like, guys, I'm 62.
I think that changed a great deal. Like there was a height.
It
of
has,
like,
but sadly, it took a Trump to do that.
Yeah.
And it should have been more measured. It's like, I'm old. I can't remember people's names, and it's like, so pronouns go out of my head. And I come from a generation in the 70s and 80s where everyone had every pronoun. I don't, call me she, call me whatever, call me they. I understand those who are giving them, sometimes coming out is about, I'm gaining my power, right? So therefore, respect me, and this is what I need to be respected. At a certain point, you start to feel better about yourself, and you stop legislating that. It's just, it's part of age. You know how kids are. In the 50s, it was like, don't call me that, Mom. But now it's, don't disrespect my pronoun. It's the same, it's a young thing. And it's part of life. Coming out is a young thing, though young people today would say, nobody comes out anymore, Mom.
Sure.
Everyone just is what they are. But now we're in a world where it's being re-litigated and re-demonized. So I'm very happy to be, this is the 25th anniversary of Hedwig film, and I'm going out on a screening tour because people need that more than maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right now it's to say, hey, we're not scared here. Hedwig is not trans, not gay, not one thing. It's all of us. And that's why our audience has always been mixed. And we don't limit who likes it. And give me a break.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, it's like drag is for everybody. And, the insights to it come from deep sources of Plato and the Gnostics and stuff who are talking about the same things for millennia.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much that makes sense to me, and then I go, if Bill Maher said the same thing based on your body of work, your intentions, your art, it's like, oh, well, it's coming from a place of like radical acceptance or just should be regular acceptance. And then Bill Maher, and I know you did you did a politically incorrect.
Yeah, and he was singing Wig in a Box.
You see?
And Johnny Rotten was being really homophobic and transphobic.
Really?
Yeah.
On that same show. I was like, really? The uber punk?
Yeah.
After he almost apologized. He was like, it's just my public persona. I'm like, it sucks.
It sucks.
It's not
boring.
funny. Now you're
It's
like a boring
not
Trump
punk
dad.
either. Yeah.
Did you tell him to his face?
No, I just was like, and he kind of knew.
Yeah.
It's because, it's funny because you meet these rappers or old punkers who went Trump way.
Yeah.
And the one thing in common, they have money, and they don't have anyone to fight anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Because the Ice Cube had the white society and cops, but now he is Trump. Trump is the ideal. When you think about it, forgotten everything of where he came from. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck Snoop. Fuck these guys who came from the street and have forgotten.
Yeah.
Fuck Johnny Rotten, who used to be very supportive of the underdog.
Roseanne Barr.
Roseanne Barr, give me a break. And
It's, by the way, Trump. I'm sure Trump has many gay friends over the years.
He'll kick him under the bus if he needs to.
Yeah.
No, he wants everyone to like him. He doesn't give a fuck. Remember, he was all Kate and Jenner, come on by, but then he realized it wasn't politics, so he will throw her under the bus. And I mean, I would too.
But not before she does first.
Yeah.
It's like driving the bus.
Yeah.
She's driving.
Queer does not mean good. Trans does not mean right.
Yeah.
You know.
But like, for example, like kind of what you're saying, like Bill Maher would similarly go like, enough with the pronouns.
Yes.
And it's not from a space of explore your gender identity without policing people's language. It's like enough.
I think for him it's more rules in general. You know, especially if you're a commentator like that. Yes, has had his way. You know, he's a kind of business of himself. You know, he's a little has a fiefdom, right? Mm-hmm. And all of those people do. Yeah. And it's not natural. They're not necessarily with real people. They're not necessarily in the real world. And he was always supportive, and he also was fearless, which, you know, is one of the few people who could actually, like South Park, you know, criticize the powers that be. If you remember during the Gulf War, no one was criticizing Bush or the government. If they did, they were destroyed, like the Dixie Chicks. But like only South Park and Colbert stepped up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right? It was the only people out of... Now it's a little more crazy, you know, everyone's everywhere. But to me, it's like that freedom of expression. I am a free speech person. And I did get rankled, not in the same way as Bill Maher, but I get rankled when I'm told I can't say something. Yeah. Yeah, it could be unpleasant. Yes, it could be wrong even. And that's unfortunately what right-wing people, you know, they jumped on that bandwagon. Of course, they were all like free speech people until this year, right? So now you are fired if you say
Charlie
something
Kirk was a real.
That
I was like, oh,
yeah,
for getting offended again. This
They're
feels
offended,
like my childhood.
Like the old days.
Yeah.
Just because I just watched Short, but can I just ask the complications of filming a cum shot? I mean, do you have to build more hours into the day? Because on porn, whatever take you get,
because if it doesn't, you're like very dependent
if
on that.
If it's the screen, you go. It's
we're not. No, there was no visual effects here, and or prosthetics,
or like an orgy too. Like everyone, how long can you film that for? You know, like
they wanted to keep going
before you reset.
We had to cut it off. They're like, we haven't come yet. I'm like, we're running out of light.
Reset.
Yeah.
But like, okay,
everyone just blue balls, just like, ugh.
They did. They quickly came, and it was like ridiculous. Then there was the cleanup. I was in that scene, you know. Yeah. But
that's great.
It was
like Mel Gibson. He made Braveheart. He directed and starred. Yeah. Like I'm in this.
Really funny.
Yes, I killed an Englishman too. No, my actors were like, "Look, if we're doing this, you got to do it too." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I couldn't get a hard on. I was worried about the editing, but
that's very funny to imagine.
It was, you know, and I'm not a group sex person, but I admire it. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And when it's good, you know, and, you know, let's go for the good. So when a character, like the main character who's a sex therapist who's never had an orgasm is going through this journey in this Alice in Wonderland, you know, you need to see what she's talking about. And so the orgy room was highly thought through, and it was mostly pre-existing couples, because I'm not going to introduce people to each other, you know, on film. And then, but yes, the cum shots had to be... at the beginning, the guy, you know, comes in his own mouth, and...
That's the one I was thinking of. I'm like, how long did you...
Well, we had the camera on him, and then I found out the cameraman was a born-again Christian after the shoot. I don't know why he did it.
Is it the shoot that did it to him?
No.
After filming that, he said, I need Christ.
I mean, we lost a crane because they saw what we were doing. They just walked away. They left. But yeah, the cameraman was sort of waiting for him to come, and then he turned the camera away to give him, you know, less pressure, and then he came.
Oh, with the camera not on him.
Right, and then
no.
And as you know, a guy needs time to reload, and so we did it again in the afternoon, and he missed it again.
What do you mean he missed it again?
He turned away again. He was, you know, sometimes waiting there for 10 minutes.
This is when he's on his back. He's fully.
Yeah. So then we had to come back the next day and get it, and it's not just
this is like Elaine Stritch getting the ladies who lunch on tape.
It's not even the cum that was the hard part. It was, you know, he has to burst into tears right after. And
Yeah. It's a tall order.
You know
It's
how
a
long
tall
they said
order.
it took that Stranger Things kid to do the scene where he comes out of the closet?
Yeah.
And on top of that,
And you have
sucking
to
your own
suck
dick
your own
can't
dick.
come.
and crying.
on
They'd
yourself
still
and
be
then
filming
cry.
it.
Yeah, it's very dehydrating.
Wow.
See.
That is a tall order.
And then we finally got it. But I had forgotten to bring a sound package for that when we came back. So I'm like, oh God, I don't want him to loop coming and crying. But he's shooting himself on a little camera.
Yeah.
And we managed to take the sound off of that, and it really worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so...
We mixed that at the Skywalker Studios. And I think someone told me George Lucas like walked in for our screening and was like,
Can you imagine the next Star Wars? Like, suddenly it's so graphic. He's like, you can use the Force for other things, too.
well, he's an old hippie. He's like,
Yeah, yeah.
when
Yeah.
those guys are excited. Like Coppola was excited I was using sex. He was going to have real sex in One from the Heart. Mm-hmm. But it was... he couldn't do it, but he really he really liked what I was doing.
Is it like, I think like from a deep actor artist perspective, I'm like, it's incredible to have just anything that involves someone using their whole body to express a piece of art.
Yeah.
And then I look at the way art is made and the strangers that are brought together and the casting process. And I know this was like a 2-year like forming of a piece with people who I'm sure were very into what it was.
Some were, they were into the mission. Everyone needed special care. But the sex, in some ways was the least difficult part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it's like, I can't imagine Hollywood honestly having anything close to more real sex given the way it's run.
Yeah.
No, it's pure capitalism, and the more money, the fewer risks. So, but we always avoided Hollywood. I mean, I always have. I dip in to get some money and then dip out, mostly as an actor. I'll take their money as an actor.
Has it been easy? Not easy, but in my mind, it must be challenging to, you don't know when you're going to not be able to dip in again. Like in your life, in your long career, like, have you found it easy enough to be like, I need some scratch?
No,
I
have
free.
to. No, I mean that doesn't work that way. Unless you're Brad Pitt. But it was like, no, it's like there's always another struggle. It's like I always have the things I care about, and then there's the money jobs, and I try to do the money jobs that don't feel wrong or rip my chi out of me so I can't do anything else. So I've been lucky enough to do a lot of TV shows that I've enjoyed.
Yeah.
And bought a house with them. Last year, then the TV kind of went away. It's like much less being made, about 3 after the strike. And then last year I sometimes do college, stuff. So I just emailed a bunch of colleges and got a tour going. I taught a film class in Ann Arbor.
Was there any point in your career where you were, I mean, if it's long enough ago to talk freely about it, where you were like, you had a job or a consistent job where you're like, God, I fucking hate this?
Not too bad. I mean, I was always lucky because I came up in the early 80s in Chicago, and there was a lot of teen movies and things going on. Went to Northwestern. My first job there was the biggest theater there, and then I went to Broadway, and so I always supported myself on acting.
Yeah.
Since the beginning.
My God, you got on Broadway so early. It's crazy.
I know, and then now this year, Oh Mary's great. I mean, it's money, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And the Hedwig screening tour will be money, but it's also a wonderful, pep talk for everybody.
For the tour, do you show the Shanghai version or the original?
Well, it's the screening.
I'm joking.
Yeah, it's a film. And then, but that's this year because it's only the 25th this year. So next year I'll got to figure something else out.
The 26th.
The
And
26th tour.
Listen, they memorialize 9/11 every year. We can do it the same way.
My producer's like, well, opened in June, so wouldn't the anniversary year be till the next June? Like, all right. But it's the 20th of Short Bus 2, which is less of, thousands of people coming to see it. But, I'm working on a memoir, I got a book deal and a new play, 2 movies.
Writing this memoir, because you're going to be around for a while longer. Do you feel like you're writing a memoir where sometimes I like that memoir where it's like, it's a year before they're dying.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I'm getting...
some people have write 3 memoirs over their life, and this one is really about being an artist, stories from the life of an artist, and that's what I choose. I don't think it's pretentious to say I'm an artist because that's how I live. It's like it's about the art and everything is in support of it. And I've never, and it's fun, and I've never been in a grant world or an art world or a museum world where I get paid to make art. I have to sell it.
Yeah.
Which kind of keeps it honest in a way and less pretentious. But I also admire those cultures that do take care of their artists and give them minimum wages, like Ireland and France. People get, for being an artist that is producing, you get some money from the government.
Yeah.
Because they value it as much as they do other things. I mean, art is as important as, maybe not more important, but as healthcare, as childcare, as education. We need, there's the old thing, I make art to live, pay my bill, but you live to make art.
Yeah.
That's one of the great things about it. And creation can be raising a child and it can be making a play. I think using your imagination in both cases and in every case is actually a vital human need that not everyone is acknowledging. Mm-hmm. Using your imagination is as important as eating for your mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's also taken away from us. I mean, you watch left to children's own devices, like without having to teach them how to do it, they do it.
It's part of our
and then
human need.
a lot of people that's beaten out of that.
Yes.
It's taken and
it's like it's not useful.
If you're not, it's not useful. You can't monetize off of it.
Or I saw recently some daddy was like, my kid learned how to use ChatGPT to finish their drawings, and I was like, oh God, this is bleak.
But then, wouldn't it be interesting if their prompt is so weird that it made something unusual that would not have happened?
That's optimistic. You know what the prompt was? A SpongeBob, but a Nazi. It's like it wasn't.
That requires the teacher with the GPT and the kids saying, "No, let's not be lazy. Let's challenge it and let's make something new."
Yeah,
I'm not. AI obviously is plenty of things to talk about there, and it will be our God to an extent. The way the internet was, it will be a kind of internet. It'll control the internet and surveil it to people. For all those conspiracy people have their rights to be paranoid. The only problem with those people is they believe all of the theories. It's like they can't just.
Or
believe
when things start to come true, they have to get more extreme. They have to be like, then
that's too mainstream.
Like the pedophile ring is true.
Yeah,
and I know
Epstein
them and voted for them. Now what about the people eating?
Now
the
they're not human beings that are doing it.
Yes.
They're aliens.
Right. It has to go more extreme. And actually, our second season of Cancellation Island, the first season, you should listen to it. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
But
it sounds fascinating.
It ends with one of the characters is obsessed with the lizard people among us. Right. Mm-hmm. So they show up at the end of the first season, but they're there to help because people forget, why are all conspiracy theories about people trying to hurt you? What about the ones secretly trying to help you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there are those people in life, those people who I don't want to be my name on it, but here's $1 million. Those people exist, we look for the worst because we're human. But I
there
tend
rarely
to look
is like the Epstein Island where they gave them a great arts education.
Yeah.
Like he was trafficking minors just to teach
But
them
you
how
know,
to paint.
Jeff Bezos' wife, is countering his repulsive capitulation to fascism, and spending her 50% of the divorce on amazing things, and she doesn't want credit. She's countering it.
How do we know that she's doing it then?
Her foundation. I mean, people will say, but she's not saying it. And she's not trying to advertise it, because it's not for it. She's actually trying to do something. Mm-hmm. I'm not completely cynical. I know most people want to get along. And I also know there's a minority of people who just want what they want. And unfortunately, those people are in power.
Yeah.
My cynicism is money. I think it's money based. It's not a pure cynicism.
Money corrupts, for sure.
And I go like, even if you have that much money, it's like when a rich person gives away money. I go, I will feel personally impressed when you give enough money away that you have less money than me, because then I go, wow, you're willing to live a life I wouldn't, not willing to live. For your morals. If someone gives away $20 billion and they're still a billionaire, I'm not going to applaud.
There's the Warren Buffett vow, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give everything away before I die. It's like some people have signed on to that. Obviously, the off-brand Bond villains of Elon Musk are not going to, because they have no iota of empathy, and they're and they don't even, and they end up culling their female children in a eugenic way to have only male ones, until that one became trans, and he was outraged. His Hitlerian tactic didn't work.
Yeah.
But there are those people, and you could also say that if you're a billionaire that didn't marry into it, you hurt somebody to get there.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why there were so many in Epstein's files. I go, it's not that billionaires are inherently pedophilic or whatever. It's that you have to be a degree of sociopath to get to that point.
Yes. And then there are those people who fall into it, i.e. they're the children of it. Maybe they married someone and they became a billionaire. And I truly think that, I forget her name. Again, she doesn't want you to know her name. Is actually trying to make some restitution and means it, is helping defunded organizations that Trump is trying to crush. And so I'm just saying, I guess I'm more of a, I'm not a pessimist. I'm not a blithe, let's laugh through a pessimist. I'm actually a worried optimist. I don't think anything's easy, and I'm not a Pollyanna. But I do know that when I interact with 90% of people in the respectful way, I get a respectful response.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, growing up super conservative environment, even those folks, my dad's buddy, Uncle Jerry, who's a sweetheart, but he's, hardcore Republican was just like, Johnny, you made me rethink some things, because I love you. And it's like, that's the only thing that actually changes. I mean, we can all be delighted by the gotcha people on Instagram. It's like, oh, we got another MAGA person to realize they're an idiot. It's like, that doesn't change anything. That just makes people mad.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're a know-it-all now. It's like, I'm a bit more of a Tallarico guy, where it's like, I come from a Christian background. I don't believe in any church, but I really do believe in a kind of, the golden rule, do unto others. So
This is the Texas guy.
Yeah.
I
think he's sincere.
Well, because he just, but this is where it feels so intractable. He did some speech where he said God is non-binary, which was the Q word for Republicans to be like, oh, you want this? They try to grab onto that, and then
God has a dick.
That's what you want to be like. Describe God's dick.
Yeah.
And
like any Christian text, St. Paul will never assign a gender to God. But again, it's like, what fucking God are we talking about?
Yeah.
And everyone's going to jump on that. And I'm not a Christian the way he is. He's going to seminary. But I like what he espouses. Like my aunt, the nun. It's like, that's the Christianity I can get behind.
I know, but Christianity has become because I wasn't raised in any kind of religion. I look at it and I go, whatever Christianity was, whatever the Bible was, there is a new Christianity, and it doesn't have a new name, but it's one that multiple. What is it called?
Yeah.
multiple denominations
Yeah.
belong to, and it is.
It's no different than any religion.
But
I
that's
know
also
it's become
Yeah.
but
anyone who's in
American
charge.
Christianity.
Yeah, and that's prosperity gospel. You know, that's the evangelical thing, which is as far afield from, say, even this Pope as you can get.
Sure.
In Christianity,
Yeah.
it's like, what happened to the rich man getting it through? The eye of the needle.
Yeah.
It's like.
But people say that as if it will carry weight. Like they'll quote the Bible as
Yeah.
if like it's done.
Yeah.
It's hard to.
And the
believe it
Bible
never
is
goes back.
ridiculously contradictory. You
Yeah.
can't play that game.
Yeah.
No one can play the Bible game.
Yeah.
But beyond all the letter of the law stuff, I still like, just as much as I like certain Taoist and Buddhist ideas of, even in a yoga class, which some would call woo-woo or whatever, though it's millennia old, is saying, I bow to the light in you. My light is here. It's respectful. Mm-hmm. It's like you're human. Mm-hmm. Let's acknowledge that we're all human here with needs. We might have different needs, but let's start with that. Let's start with respect. And if you lose the respect, fine. You act on that, right? But as soon as you start painting people, oh, well, you're a Republican, therefore you're evil, you're trans, therefore you're woke, or whatever that means, you're already painting. You're already not looking at what's in the room. Read the goddamn room. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the problem we're in today, which is people aren't even in the room.
Yeah,
they're on
not
the
even in
fucking
room,
screen.
for sure.
So how do you read the screen?
They're processing through what the screen told them.
Yeah, you
to
can't see people's faces when they say things on X or Twitter. So you take offense or...
What do you say to someone if they were to say, like, you want me to talk to the person that voted against my existence?
Yes.
You want me to talk to the person who voted for the person who, if they had their full way, I'd be in a fucking camp.
I think most people don't vote with their brain. In America, they're tired, they work all day, and they're like, oh, my buddies are voting for Trump, my family is, if I can even get to the polls, I'm going to do it. I think that's most people.
Yeah.
They vote with their tribe. And you can say the same about, liberal people too. And it's easier, right, to follow the list of what you're supposed to believe if you're liberal or or a libertarian or a Trumpian, which is pretty far from old school republicanism now.
Yeah.
It's like a weird mix now of just inchoate kind of raw need and grievance and revenge.
Yeah.
And that's not... I know great, lovely people who are old-fashioned Republicans. They haven't been in a lot of new settings. They're scared of them. But they're good people, right? They're the people going to stop when your car's broken down and help you out and not request anything and not brag about it.
Yeah.
We all know those people, and it's no matter who they vote for. I think there is a kind of, again, they don't vote here. They vote on, well, he seems like someone I could have a drink with, right? Or they're rich, I'm not going to vote for him. I don't know how Trump became the symbol of working people.
He somehow.
I don't know how he did that.
You ever meet him?
No, but I was weirdly, my manager was getting gay married at the St. James, and he was there. It was a guest.
Oh.
And it was delayed because he was late.
When was this? What era of Trump?
Early 2010.
They held the gay marriage for Trump?
So after The Apprentice. Wow.
That's...
Yes, because like you said,
Well,
it's just about what they could do for you.
Was he the guest of honor?
Before, though.
No.
But
his father, one of the groom's fathers was friends of his.
Oh, okay.
I see.
A rich guy.
He did ingratiate a lot of different ways. That, as in any sitcom or movie you watched in the 80s, 90s, if you associated him with wealth, and then also all his work at the WWE and the reality TV, The Apprentice. So he got in those like different sects
worlds
for decades.
My dad owned the Art of the Deal. We had the Apprentice board game.
Yeah.
I mean, he was good at branding.
Yeah, he's Barnum. He's a huckster.
Yeah.
And he's cosplaying president now, and our lives are at stake.
Yeah.
And he brings in other people who kind of look like him, meaning self-serving.
They don't got it.
Camera people. No, and they can't quite measure up, and the Christy Gnome is out, but she's in the same realm, right?
Yeah.
Vance sees himself as an intellectual, but he doesn't know what's going on now.
Yeah.
Because everything he
doesn't
seems to
have
espouse.
He doesn't have the charm.
When you watch
the
him talk,
charisma,
you're
the
like,
humor.
ooh.
I don't think
Brother.
there's no way he can hold together that coalition.
No.
Maybe
Yeah. No, he's not.
Rubio, but to me, it's like, unfortunately, we are personality-based culture.
Yes.
We don't vote on policy. That's why when I say, I'm going to talk to someone who voted for someone who wants me dead, I would vote. I would posit that a lot of those people were not aware of that.
Yeah.
Or you're exaggerating, or what? I'm on this team, and you're always going to be wrong.
Or they like this politician the same way they'd like an actor or like a band.
I like
And
his hair.
Yeah.
And
It's
then-
kind of funny.
But the only thing, and because we're in a post-truth time, and AI is going to make that worse, right?
Yeah.
Some videos of people, of Trump shooting someone on Fifth Avenue as opposed to him shooting on someone on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
There's no difference now. People will believe it, or they'll call it a deep fake, and they believe what they want to believe, right? Mm-hmm. That is different from 1972.
Yeah.
Although people have been believing false shit forever.
Yes.
There's a degree
Yes.
where AI will
But
give
there
more
was a
video
weird-
proof. People watch those ICE videos.
Yeah.
And they said she was trying to kill that agent.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we didn't need AI to create this division.
they already
of
believed it. Yeah.
belief.
No,
Yeah.
you're right. But this will make it worse.
Yes.
So in that time, as it does get worse, I'm not sure what to do apart from live my life in real rooms.
Yeah.
And get in rooms with people, and that's why I live in New Orleans mostly now.
I wanted to ask you about that because I love New Orleans. I'm going in 2 weeks.
My girlfriend grew up there, moved after Katrina.
It's the last city in the U.S. with its soul intact.
Yeah, it's the only time. So I started going probably 11, 12 years ago. And I had never gone before, and it's the only time other than when I was a kid and I came to New York for the first time where I was like, oh my God, I have to live here. I have to live here at some point. I'm saving to get a place there because I can't afford to buy a place.
By the way, join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside for
I'll
bonus
never be able to
episodes
afford a place
every
in New
month.
York. I'll rent here, but I want to, it's just the way, sense of community and the sense of
Sense of tradition.
I can't believe it's in a city in America.
I know. It's a nexus of a bunch of cultures. It's the beginning of the Caribbean, and I love it. And I call it the Sphincter of America.
How long have you been there?
Wait, why do you call it the Sphincter of America?
The alimentary canal of the Mississippi River expels its waste right at New Orleans. That makes it fertile, fertile crescent.
Yeah.
And it's also shit. It's polluted. It's
Swampy.
Cancer Alley.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous in its own,
God forbid the tourism board hires you for their next campaign.
but it's also fertile.
Yeah.
So things live and they survive, and they're like, you're not going to destroy us. And they're aware of climate change all the time. They always have been.
Yeah.
So we should be more like them. And it's more like, what you got to bring to the party? It's like, I don't care where you're from as a conversation starter, but what do you got?
Yeah.
What you got? And it's majority black, which calms me down because that's how I grew up in the military. It's like, I love a mix. I want to know what's going on, where you're from, what music do you play? Join us. And I have a venue in my house. I have a 50-foot ballroom in my house.
That is
Wow.
dream.
That's
all
so
I want
cool.
in this
People are
world.
performing, and I don't know if I can hold on to it. The taxes and the insurance, but
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. How long have you been there? And what made you?
Couple years.
Did you?
well,
go-
exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Do you have a name for the venue?
The Temple,
The Temple.
Temple.
because it was 5 different churches over 180 years. I
Wow.
bought it from an occult church. And I spent a lot of money on making the whole house gorgeous, and now I'm broke. But I love it, and I'm renting it out right now, actually. But I'm renting it to a fan, which is a funny thing. But, they'll take care of it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, before we go to our next segment here, how are you feeling being back and working this much?
It's great. I mean, I'm a workaday guy. I like to know where I'm going to be. I'm like a punch, card guy. That's theater. Film is different because you're like, don't know what
One
you're going to do. One
day you're sucking your own dick. The next day you do it.
Yeah, then you're sitting around in your trailer and then you got to cry in 12 hours. And theater, you know exactly what you're doing.
Yes.
It's like the priest saying mass. You know what you're going to do. You know how long it's going to take. You know how much energy it takes. And so I prepare accordingly and recover accordingly. And I love the rituals. People coming backstage and, always interesting people. Alyssa Liu was there the other day, and my aunt, the nun, and it's an unexpected person, and then the fans I got to meet after, and it's just pure shtick, and fun, and I'm trying to make the character a little more emotional, because it's
yeah. I mean, was it like, how many times did you see it? How many times have you seen it before you?
I saw it like 3 times. Cole, Jinx, and Jane, who are all wildly different.
Yeah.
And my version is more sort of, she's, has a pretensions to finishing school. She's self-taught and has failed.
Yeah.
So she's more trying to be fancy, and then it crumbles. And definitely trying to, milk every possible joke, and some of them the director killed. What's a choice
that people will not be seeing?
Well, at the beginning, I was on the entrance. I come through the door and did a full kind of acrobatic somersault, and then land at the foot of the stage and sort of hiss like a reptile, like
yeah.
Because I want alcohol.
Yeah.
To me, it was like the ultimate. She's just been described as someone who's pissed on the Senate floor, and I'm like, you need to measure up to that. So I did this wild flip that almost takes me off the stage, but I end right at the end of it, and just, and like a Godzilla or something, and then find my alcohol. But the director didn't like it. The audience did. No, generally,
you got it to the you did.
I did a couple shows.
Did a couple shows,
but he came to my second show, which I begged him not to do. The second shows are always worse, right?
Yeah.
The very second show,
yes,
is never.
Yeah.
Probably
that first show you're going on adrenaline.
Yeah, third show you're starting to think about it.
Yeah.
Second show you're just failing.
Yeah.
And I was like, please don't. And that was the only night he could come.
Yeah.
But generally, who's doing Rocky Horror now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has been great, and the associate director was great, and they have a weird job. They have to kind of keep certain things, even if they're
and by
not
the way,
important.
bringing in
and they're bringing in
big
very
people who could go. Excuse me, I will be doing the hiss after the summer.
I know. There was one moment I did have to pull rank on an emotional thing, not a shtick thing.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, you and they acknowledged it, but they just were getting lazy. It's like, do what everyone else has done to get a laugh. And I'm like, it's more than a laugh, because the character is on a, is on a path to a destructive act, which we won't describe. So you have to follow that line of her thinking, and you can't compromise it with a cheap joke. It has to be the right laugh, not just the biggest laugh.
Yeah. That's very funny. When you go, thank you. I think what's your tone of going?
Well, that was just that was more of an acting thing than a shtick thing, and I was they were like, it was stage manager, who aren't necessarily supposed to give you acting notes, but in rehearsal, running out. I only had 8 rehearsals, so.
Oh my!
They were like, just throw it away, throw that line away, and I'm like, I disagree, because we're leading to a huge violent act, and you have to follow that. And he's like, I don't think, I disagree, and I was like, well, I disagree with you, and I'm actually doing.
I'm doing it.
I'm actually saying the line.
Just you saying it, that I said, okay.
Yeah, and he did. To his credit, he was sweet about it, but it just comes from doing too many Marys.
Oh, yeah.
Course,
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
I
you're.
don't have time to rediscover everything.
Let's go to our next segment. This has got to stop.
This has got to stop.
This is where we say something that needs to come to an end. Big, small, personal, broad. It really could be all sorts of things. Russell, do you have a This Has Got to Stop?
Yeah, this has got to stop. Okay, there's there are a million, and there will be a million more Ryan Murphy series.
They do
But
need to
now,
stop.
in
Unless
my
I'm starring
head,
in it.
what's really bothering me about them is my head. I'm already being like in real life, being like, oh no, there's going to be an Erica Kirk Ryan Murphy series. You know, like there's
There
going to be
is.
stuff that like won't be nostalgic for in like 10 years that you're like,
Is that your measure of success? I can't wait to be nostalgic. For
no,
this.
but I feel like all of they all are that thing of like, oh, look at the Kennedys, JFK. In the
they're
90s.
historical
Remember the
based.
90s and all the music is 90s. And a lot of that stuff is that. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what it hits for people.
Right.
And I'm
what
like,
do they
I
call it?
don't.
Member berries.
Yeah,
I don't want to be nostalgic for Erica Kirk. And like, I just know that that's going to be one.
Yeah,
I know in 10
remember
years.
Trump.
Yeah.
Remember.
Well, I
Christy
think
Nome, the women of Trump, it'll be
Oh.
all of them. It'll be like, oh.
There'll be some drag queens this year now that she's down.
yeah, there was a great Erica Kirk track where she's crying, but she like blocked her tears with dollar bills.
dollar bills, yeah.
I think about how people have to revisit their history, and I'm like, I don't want the only Trump that I would be curious to see is the one that can't happen, and that's Philip Seymour Hoffman. That's the only guy that, like, at least right now, that I'd be like, let's see.
I don't
want to
see another thing. I think if you do it in the future, you have to do it when he's never in the room. It's always people reacting to like the chaos,
Like
but
the
like
death of Stalin.
yeah, like like I don't want to see. I can't see another
No, let's
impression.
not go there.
Yeah.
Let's just see the effect.
Yeah.
It's like Katrina.
That's a good one. This has got to stop, and it's always tough when you're talking about Ubers or taxis. I don't want to be punching down. They're not paid well enough. But there's been a lot more recently of getting in the car and going, so which way do you want to go? Which street do you want to take? And I just
They ask you in an Uber?
yeah, or do you want to do this? Or
I've
do
never
this?
heard of that.
Maybe
It's always the
maybe
GPS.
and I go whatever, and I think it's because I can remember-
Taxis used to do that.
and my dad certainly is his fault because he'd be the kind of be like,
Well,
"Why are
you're
you
gonna
taking
wanna-
Roosevelt?" And I'm like, because he is, because he's ripping you off, and who cares? Get a car. It's his right to rip
I
you
know.
off.
I used to do that more when I moved here because I was the New York. New York was rougher then, and when I came in the '80s, you would say "shut the fuck up" to someone outside your door who was yelling.
Yeah.
Now that people don't do that, but
We're still doing it now.
yeah, well, not in the village where I was, but but and I would used to kick the cab that cut you off, rudely on the street.
Yeah.
I remember one time I kicked a cab up a busy area, and the guy got out with a tire iron, and I'm like, I wasn't gonna run. I'm like, oh fuck no! I just sort of stood there, and then everyone in the crosswalk started smashing his car.
No way.
Yeah, like hey, I saw you cut him. Like get the fuck back in your. That's the New York that I miss.
That's a beautiful moment.
Self-correcting.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
yeah.
grandma with the walker.
Yeah.
That is true. Self-correcting. There's not that communal thing.
Yeah, New
Now,
York-
if someone got tired out, everyone's gonna get out their phone.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen.
That's true. Back then, there was a direct, remedy for a situation, even if it was rude and angry. And you almost expected it, so people would yell at each other without as much, like, oh, you've offended me. It was more like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then in the end, they might have a drink. But it's like, but I also, it was the time, again, of AIDS and a renewed homophobia. So there'd be Jersey, plates screaming faggot on the street. I'm like, get the fuck, what's your first fucking time in the city? Get back to your fucking suburb, babies.
Yeah.
It's like we knew how to do that.
Yeah.
But there was also gangs, and there was muggings, and I got mugged, and you had to be ready for anything, right? So you had to know when to cross the street, and be ready for have your keys in your fist in case you're in the
that
vestibule.
little mini Wolverine keys. I have that sometimes.
Yeah, even in the village, so we had to be ready for it
Mugged at knife point, gun point.
Yeah, I mean women especially.
What were
right?
you?
Yeah.
Oh, I was knife point at East River Park. I think I was on crack because I'm fairly good in a crisis, so I just kind of was like, what do you want? What do you need? Yeah. Remain calm. And that, to me, is like, that's a New York thing, too, that I learned. You know, it's like not to be thrown by an event or a sound. You just kind of deal and try to help. I mean, you know, the one leftover of that is like New Yorkers love to give directions to strangers, right?
They do.
No, don't take that. Someone else is giving directions. They'll step in and say, "That's stupid. Take the N."
Yeah. What's your "this has got to stop," John?
I mean, there's so many things, aren't there? I'm tired of people saying I couldn't care less, which actually means they cared.
Yeah, it is true.
No, when they say I could care less, sorry.
I could care less.
So, of course, the original is I could not care any less, but now people lazily say, I could care less. Well, why are you bringing it up?
Yeah.
That means you care.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
I don't know.
Yeah, people do that. Yeah.
Let's go. We need a lot of phrases refixed.
Yeah.
I don't like step foot. Maybe it's just I'm old fashioned.
Step foot?
You know, I would never step foot in that store.
In my mind, because I have stepdads and stepmoms, I was like,
is that a new porn category? Step foot.
It's a foot fetish for someone who's kind of related.
Kind of,
Yeah.
Set foot.
Yes.
Set foot.
I'm more of a language person, so I like
that.
I hate when people misuse stuff because I'm like, but that's just my because I'm a writer.
Yeah.
Let's go to our final segment.
In fact, there was a
better count your blessings.
step foot. I looked at it an hour later, and they changed it to set. Like some editors,
they were like, we can't say step. Yeah.
There's something I'm doing. Islev Kapmine. I'm doing there's a comedy news show called Have I Got News for You that I'm doing tonight. It's a CNN show, but I guess someone was co-signing Trump's plan overseas and called it "We support epic furry." They said furry instead of fury. Multiple times in the thing, it just says furry, epic furry.
It's such a typo of administration, isn't it?
Yeah.
And those names, epic fury is so humiliating.
Oh, brother. That. Yeah. Oof.
Well, this final part, we say one thing that we're thankful for. One blessing. We had a good negative episode. Russell, what's your blessing today?
My blessing. I have some family over the next few weeks that are coming to visit. I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm excited to see them. I genuinely excited. But yeah.
The nephew?
They're coming back, but with my brother and sister-in-law.
Good to see O'Mary.
Well, we have plans to see something else, but they're a little young. One's 8.
They'll like it though.
Yeah.
8. They wouldn't get the things that they.
That's true.
I wouldn't get all the sexual.
They wouldn't. No. I think that it's
What
actually
age-
not that crazy
What
of
age
it.
do you feel comfortable introducing them to homosexuality? What's the appropriate
That's a
age
good
in
question.
your mind?
Well, that's
okay.
different from sexuality
I know.
because homosexuality is just daddy likes daddy or who you want to marry, but as opposed to blowjobs and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rent
One day there'll be O'Mary Jr. and
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
Mary
schools.
Jr. Yeah.
yeah.
It's actually not that. There's nothing. It's not like they've probably seen and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they'd say, what was he doing under the desk?
Oh yeah, maybe.
Right,
That one.
but
part.
risque is different from homosexuality. Like
Yes.
homosexuality
Yes.
is just a fact.
Yeah.
The risqueness
they're
is
familiar.
the acts.
They're familiar.
I think a lot about, I learned things about the Clinton Monica Lewinsky thing. I heard about it at that time.
Right.
And I certainly heard the word blowjob. But later I was like, what's this about the cigar?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
He put the cigar and then he smoked the cigar. And I was like,
Why
how
is
did I miss
everyone?
that? I guess no
the
one.
stain on the dress. Everyone's like, why is everyone being what stain? It was like, yeah.
I
it was over
remember
my head.
he changed the meaning of sex to meaning only intercourse.
Yes.
And I was like, well, there's a lot of other kind of sex. I did not have sexual relations with that.
That's why I don't quite trust him. He's like, I didn't have any sex in Epstein Island.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Bill. My blessing. I'm going to Saturday Night Live tonight. I get to go to
Tonight?
Oh.
yeah, my girlfriend.
Friday?
She's a. tomorrow.
I was like, you're gonna be there early, brother.
Yeah, it's not exciting. It's kind of more like they're cleaning
They're
up.
still working on it.
Who's on it?
Ryan Gosling.
Okay, he can be
And
funny.
the Gorillas is the band, but my girlfriend's a manager, a comedy manager, has 2 clients on SNL right now, writer's room and performing. And I've never been, and a fan and critic and lover of the concept in general. So just to be there
That's fun.
will be
yeah.
so cool. And
Yeah.
I might be doing. They're doing Saturday Night Lives now in other countries.
UK,
Yes, UK.
yeah,
and France.
and France.
Yeah,
Oh.
and I was invited to be in the French one because the host is Marion Cotillard, who is a friend and loves Hedwig. So I might be going to do that.
That'd be so
hosting?
cool.
No, just performing.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll probably do a Hedwig song. Yeah.
Oh, that's
'Cause
so
it's-
cool. That would be amazing.
Maybe Origin of Love.
You know what?
Yeah.
SNL here would be great if they did.
They did
I
stuff
know.
like that.
You know, after I played Joe Exotic with Kate McKinnon as Carol Baskin, she goes, "What would you really love to come out of this?" I was like, "I'd love to host SNL someday."
Yeah.
And she's like, I mean, it wasn't possible because we
He
weren't
said
a
it's on
hit.
Hulu.
Yeah.
If we were heated rivalry, I
Yeah,
could.
yeah.
But yeah, she was great. She would be a good Mary, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, the list
the
of
list of
good Marys.
the Marys,
is-
yeah, it's crazy.
Well, you guys haven't seen me, have you?
No.
No.
Oh yeah, you got to come. It's
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm trying to make this
Milieu
podcast.
is fantastic. Too.
Is he?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, as the Marys.
But we also had Kumail on the show, and he did Mary.
He had
I'm
fun.
trying to make this.
Yeah. My agent actually said, I always like to try new things. I've made albums, I've done this podcast series. And my agent, after seeing the show, was like, I think you should create a comedy special.
Sure.
And I was like, I don't come from that world, but in effect, Hedwig and Mary have that DNA in it.
Of course.
And I'm like, and I have got to know more interesting comics in the last few years. People like
Julio Torres.
Julio, who introduced me to Patty Harrison and River Ramirez and Spike Einbinder, all these people who are fun.
Yeah.
Sarah Sherman, and I'm like, these are the newer brand, right? Who are now coming into their own. They're not the starting out, but they're finding their way, and they're dark, and they're surreal, and I met Chris Fleming, and that was really I like what he does.
He's astounding.
Yeah, he's great, and so I was like, I mean, I don't come from a tradition of having honed monologues my whole life, but in a way I have with theater pieces and other things. So I'm like, maybe I should really think about a fun concept.
Should.
Right, for a comedy special that could work in that realm,
Yeah.
but still be interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's still audience based,
Definitely.
Sure.
Definitely.
I think it would be phenomenal. Do you have a blessing to close this out?
I feel very blessed to be living in New Orleans and letting its history and bonhomie, bon temps roulé come through me. It's this, like I said, the last city with its soul intact, which doesn't mean there aren't incredible souls in other cities, but in terms of its original, it's still there. And that resilience, creativity, open-mindedness, and true hospitality. It ain't no LA, how you doing? I have a project. It's like, hey, who are you? Where you from? What's your deal? Baby.
Yeah.
Have a drink.
Yeah.
And I love that. And it evens you out.
Yes.
Everyone's the same there. It's what you got to bring to the party, which is similar to theater, which is similar to the military upbringing I have. People don't care where you're from. They're like, what do you got? What do you got?
Yeah.
And that's why I have hope even for our military in this fascist situation, because military are not cops. I grew up in this, they are not ICE. ICE don't even qualify to be cops. They're fucking thugs.
Yeah.
The military are not police. Pete Hegseth can try to make them police, and there's a couple of psycho generals that but most military people fucking hate him and what they're talking about the role. If you're in a war, you don't want another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pete Hegseth, Chicken Hawk, Supreme Commander in Brief. It's like that's why people like Kelly and these other vets who are like, there are illegal orders and you are trained to disobey them.
Yeah, they broke a vet's arm the other day, speaking out against it. A senator, broke his arm, dragging him out because he was saying, I don't want to go.
You know, it's like whatever you believe about the military, it is full of people, some psychos, and then some people really trying to do the right thing and getting their lives together because it's a socialist state.
Yeah.
For conservatives.
Yeah.
Get free health care, education. It's a great model.
Yeah.
Which is why, when leaders who haven't experienced that, you can smell it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can smell it. And the ones who were in a war, they're whatever you think about McCain, he saw it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He understood. He was the one member who saved our Obamacare with one vote.
Yeah.
Military has free health care.
Yeah.
They know it's not hard to do.
Yeah.
If everybody agrees.
Yeah.
So the long answer there was
John McCain.
New Orleans is
John McCain.
count our blessings.
Yeah.
We have New Orleans still as a guide to
Yes.
America.
Oh, yes.
And tell people about you're running O'Mary. Anything else that they could check out?
Hedwig, the 25th anniversary.
Hedwig,
Yes,
yeah.
Hedwig's 25th anniversary of the film. We are Hedwig25.com or on my Instagram. You'll see we're doing a tour. I'm doing a tour of screenings where I sing a few songs. Might do a stoned director's commentary during the film. Q&A meetups all over North America and Europe too. We're doing some. And if you have a big space and you want us to come, go to the site and there's a place you can email us, Hedwig25.com. And then Mary till April 26th is a good time for all. If you want a cheap seat, the obstructed views and the orchestra to the right are perfectly fine.
Great.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Russell, where can people find you?
Oh, at Russell J. Daniels. And also, we're going on tour, The Downside Live. There are some shows sold out, but there are still tickets for some shows as of right now. So get those tickets. We'll see you across the country.
And for me, just join that Patreon, patreon.com/downside. I'm on the road for the rest of the year. Get those tickets while you can. Chicago, I think something big is on sale. I'd get them. We can't say exactly what that show is, but if
Where do
go
you
to the
do
Patreon,
that?
you know. At Chicago, I'm doing this next round. I usually do Zany's Comedy Club. I'm doing something big at Talia Hall, which is yeah.
Used to be a movie theater.
Used to be a movie theater. It used to be a space for politicians to speak pre-mic, so it has great acoustics.
Like the
Very cool.
Cooper Union space.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited to spend more time in Chicago.
Yeah, I went to college there.
Yeah. I did a musical theater camp at the Northwestern campus called Cherubs.
I was a faculty associate at the Cherubs.
Wow.
Oh my God!
In
It was the most
83.
magical of camps that I
great, yeah.
had.
I didn't know they had a musical one.
It was a 5-week, and then you could stay 2 weeks. It was kind of sad because after the 5-week, everyone left except for like 30 kids, and you had to witness everyone leave, and suddenly camp was like bereft of the love of your life. And but I had so much. Who was the head of? I mean,
Craig
God.
Kinzer.
If you're hearing this song, it means we cut something out. Probably Russell being racist. Shh.
And you're on Epstein Island. It's horrible.
Horrible.
This is the downside.
Downside.
That was a Headgum podcast.